Hey guys, I want to go ahead and talk about how to use the law of sines and cosines. So I went ahead and drew up this quick example here, and you notice that we have a side, an angle, and another side here. Um, Now this is an ambiguous situation. I just made it up. I just want to give you guys an idea of how to use it. Okay, now remember the opposite side. Okay, the capital letter is the angle. The opposite side is the lowercase. Okay, letter A. So this is capital B, so this is lowercase b, capital C, this is lowercase c. Okay. Now, the way you want to do it is you always want to have one unknown. Okay, and if you notice here, if I use angle C, I can use 41 degrees and 7. But if I use angle A, you see I have two unknowns because I don't know what this guy is right here. So I'm going to use C and I'm going to use B. I want to figure out angle B here. So I'm going to use sine of C divided by small c equals sine of capital B over lowercase b. And I'm just going to go ahead and substitute. Sine of C, well, we know that's 41 degrees divided by 7. And that's going to equal sine of B over 6. Okay. And then from here, you just want to go ahead and cross multiply. And what I'm going to do, I want to find this guy, so I'm just going to cross multiply over here. This guy's going to go over there. Let me just bring it right over here. So I'm going to do sine of B is equal 6 sine of 41 degrees. Now remember, when you multiply, this guy stays on the outside. A lot of students think, oh, I got to multiply 6 times 41. No. Just leave it. Sine of 41 has to be done first, then you multiply it by 6, and I have a 7 there. So sine of B is equal to okay, so sine of B is equal to 0.562. Okay. Now remember, make sure when you're working in your calculator, make sure you use degrees, okay? Because that's what we're talking about here. All right, now how do I find this angle B? Well, you have to take the sine inverse. So you take the sine inverse on both sides, and you're left with B is equal to sine inverse of 0.562. Okay, you want to put that in your calculator, sine inverse 0.562, and B is going to be equal to approximately 34.19 degrees. Okay, and that's just the law of sines. So real quickly, you just want to go ahead and make sure you kind of think about what you're going to use, which two angles and sides. Okay, you always want to have one unknown. Right here, we can't use angle A. But now that I have angle B, well, that's 34.19 degrees. I can figure out angle A, and I can do the rest. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can do one more example. I'm going to do the law of cosines, and I'll just pick random numbers. Let's do that. It's 8, 3. Now, whenever you have a triangle, you got to make sure that two sides, when you add them up, are bigger than the third side. So 8 plus 3 is 11. It has to be bigger than this side over here. So now it looks like this one's longer. I'll make it 10. Okay. Okay. So now if you notice here, let me call this A, B, and C. I don't have any angles, so I can't use the law of sines because I need an angle. So, but I can use the law of cosines. So the law of cosines is from the Pythagorean theorem. So we have A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus, well, you want these two together, multiply that, minus 2BC cosine of whatever angle you're talking about. We're talking about A, so it's angle A. And the same thing with B. B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of the angle we're talking about. And the last one is c squared is equal to b squared plus a squared. I probably should have done a first. Minus 2ab cosine of capital C. Now you can use any of those. So let's just say I want to find out this angle right here. Angle A. Okay. Now I want capital A, remember, so I want this guy over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this guy over here. So a squared, well, let me see here, is 3. So I'm gonna use 3 squared. B is, well, that's 8. C is 10. That's 10 squared. Minus 2 times the value of B and C. Well, just 10 times 8. Okay, or 8 times 10. Cosine of A. Okay. So now we just go ahead and do the math. You know that's 9. 8 squared 64 plus 100 minus, that's 80 times 2, which is 160. Cosine of A. Alright. Now you have to be careful here. Alright guys. You see 64 plus 100, that's 164. Now here's where students make the mistake. You see here, 164 minus 60. A lot of times students think, oh, I can subtract that. 164 minus 160 is 4. You cannot do that. Remember, order of operations. This guy means multiplication. So this guy has to stay together until the very end. So we have to undo this guy. So you're going to do minus 164, minus 164. That simplifies. You're going to have negative 160 cosine of angle A. 164 minus 9 is 155, but of course that's negative. Okay, if you notice, you're going to divide by negative 160, negative 160. That simplifies. You're left with cosine of angle A. Now, what's 155 divided by 160? That is 0.968. Now, guys, remember, cosine and sine, they only go up to 1 and positive 1. The amplitude, okay, goes only up to 1 and down to negative 1. So any of these decimals, they have to be between that range. If it's above or below, you're not going to be able to get an answer. All right. So 0.9 tells me I'm right about where I want to be, and it's going to be correct. So now let me go ahead and find the angle A. And remember, to find angle A, we got to do the inverse. So we're going to get cosine inverse 0.968. And let's go ahead and move this up real quick. So let's go do cosine inverse 0.968. And that's going to give me 14.53 degrees. And there it is. All right, guys. So hopefully that helps out. Let me know, and I'll keep making more videos.